Right, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another live stream. Me and the boys were just arguing. It's actually my fault. I'm not even going to lie to you. Husam was 5 minutes late, so it would have been his fault. But my Wi-Fi was doing a madness, so I'm not going to lie to you, chat. It's one of those things. So the beautiful thing about YouTube is we can put like other YouTubers' channels in the description and stuff like that. So go to there, go and subscribe to Big Six Bands. Go subscribe to This Is Football and go and subscribe to man like Tom Big, even though it's TomL1ttle. But anyway, I need to introduce them one by one. Apparently, I've got to do a great intro. In fact, I can't be asked. We've got Husam, we've got man like Monts, and we have got my boy, Tom, Mr. Big. How are you, gents?
After everything I've said about you, you introduced me by we've got Husam. Is that
I just think you're a bit of a toolbox sometimes. That's all, Husam.
I'm a bit of a toolbox. Wait till you hear TomL1ttle's excuse for us not signing Lavia. That's what you call a real toolbox.
Oh, we doing this already, are we? We're doing this already.
The reason, Tom, can I speak? This is my intro right here. Here's the
Hold
thing.
on, we all got introduced at the same time. So no, it's not your fucking intro.
First of all, I was late because I was deciding which shirt I'm gonna wear to Tom's funeral. Because today's argument is gonna absolutely ruin him. You're probably gonna see him lean back about 15 times in this argument. Every lean back equals a defeat in this argument. Big up to Monts as well. Remember, he's gonna grow probably an inch longer this stream, so he goes from 5'10" to 5'11". Next stream he's gonna be 6 foot. The stream after 6'1". So big up Monts little man. You see the two little ones are underneath. The two actual tall people are on the top. Big up, man. Make sure you like, subscribe though.
But you know what, though, Husam? I think you're having a go at everybody else. And here he goes, he runs. And you're the guy who wants Sergio Ramos, don't you?
Exactly.
So I'm just saying,
how am I running? I'm not running.
You hit your screen.
I'm here.
So I apologize if I assume that you're running or not. Husam, what about Sergio Ramos? You're giving Tom shit about his views. You're giving Monts. You haven't attacked me, so thank you. But I need to call out the slander when the slander is given. You know?
Am I wrong for slandering them both? Be honest.
No, I agree, but now I need to call out you if we're going to hold the same standards.
This time you done.
Man said I agree. Done then. We agree. Perfect.
I don't know.
Sergio Ramos, answer the question.
There is nothing to answer. Is he better than Joe Gomez? Yes. Is he better than Joel Matip? Yes. Get him in.
Did you say that you take him? Like, isn't he your guy?
He's not my guy like that. He's just the guy that... Okay, but this is my logic, right? Instead of us just sat there like idiots, right? Not doing anything in the centre-back position, I would rather sign a stopgap. So we looked at the... Love, my brother. We looked at the list of players who are available as free agents. The best defender was Sergio Ramos. So I was like, let me get him in for 1 year. That's it. Thank you.
No, because you've never... Don't say it like that, Husam. What do you say? What's your fucking wet dream that you think about with Sergio Ramos?
So I don't have wet dreams, Tom. I'm not 13 like you. I'm old enough, so I don't have wet dreams like that. That's number one. Number two, all I said was there's a hypothetical scenario in which Sergio Ramos scores the winner away at City.
No.
How many headers has that man scored in an important
Ibrahim Konate gets injured, so we go to the Etihad and Sergio Ramos drops a man-of-the-match performance, pocketing Erling Haaland, scoring the winner.
Yes, 1-0 to Liverpool, right there, written in the stars. A million miles away.
Sam, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Big up everyone in the chat. Obviously, I haven't actually come across Sam since James put Sam in a spliff over on my channel.
He never put me in a
what we do on a day-to-day basis. Husam,
never ever put me on a spliff. Never.
I trust me. You got rolled up on.
That's a bigger lie than you being 6 foot.
He ashed you. He was ashing you on his windowsill. That's what James was doing. He's ashing you on his windowsill.
James doesn't smoke. Don't spread rumors.
And he toked you while we were talking on stream about Fabinho's exit. That's fine though. That's nothing to do with me. I tried to call the truth.
We will see who lied.
Kept going. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. You were messaging people backstage. And listen. Hey, it's great to be here. This is the first I've heard of this Sergio Ramos prop after he single-handedly assaulted Mo Salah in 2018. Still haven't forgiven him for that, but yet you want him at this club. So that's 2 howlers. And plus you were late. So, I love you to bits, but
Was I not here before James came back?
James... What?
So was James not lagging? Can you answer the question? Can you answer the question, please? Just answer the question.
You were here
Was James not lagging a little bit? Be honest.
yes, he was lagging.
Okay,
but
so even if I was here 5 minutes before, we still would have been late anyway. So why does it matter?
Well, no,
I
because
still think-
because there was a point of time where me and Monts and James were sat there waiting for you, and James's internet was fine.
Oh. So it's
Mm.
my fault. James's internet is my fault.
Who the fuck said
No,
that?
it's not that.
it's
But
your
you would
fault
have
for
been
not
late
putting your key on
regardless. That's
time.
the thing. Preparation is key, and your preparation was poor. If my internet was doing the greatness, even though it weren't on the greatness, so you were lucky to be
Teach me
fair.
how to
But this
do
is
it.
the third or fourth time, Husam. You need to increase professionalism, brother. Didn't you
Listen,
sleep during your watch
lateness is
along?
greatness. I always come here and give you 110%. If I'm 2 minutes late, it doesn't matter.
Do you know what it is though, Husam? Do you know what it is? The fans miss you
Yeah.
too much, so we need you to be on time. You know what I mean? Because you're the one who maintains viewership. We're just here as your side, man. You're the one who maintains viewership, so that's why we need
I'm a
you here
humble
on
young
time.
man. I never said any of that. I'm a humble young man. I've never said
That's
any
what
of
I'm
that.
saying. I'm saying that as your number one fan. Shout out to Nico Pal. He says new movie starring TomL1ttle, The Presidents, releasing on the 31st of August.
James, I just wish you were on the Twitter space earlier, just listening for 5 minutes. You're you know, I
Wait, Dave,
you know,
did you do one
can
of
we
those
start?
chat
I
room
don't want
things?
to dictate how your show goes, but can you actually allow Tom to express his dumb opinion as to why we haven't signed Lavia, please?
Okay,
Because
yeah.
it would
do you know
honestly
what?
trigger you.
We'll touch on that first, and let me run through these super chats before we get into it. Because I'll be honest, Tom, I saw your tweet and I thought it was a bit seedy, but we will give you the full
Thank you.
floor to defend your stance. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
and well done for your acting career, by the way, sir. Shout out to Romulus, Romulus, yeah. 2 bids rejected, 2 weeks left. We're wasting time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting pissed off with the owners, boys. It's got to a point now where I'm kind of ready to be ruthless again. I've tried to take this stance of, you know, balancing out and not trying to be angry. I'm getting a bit pissed. It's just one of those things. Thank you for the super chats, sir. And then the final one for now, we've got Monts. Why did you sit there and let an Arsenal fan say that they have more pull than Liverpool on Big Six bands? Happy birthday, little Tom. 6 foot 10.
Speaking of getting cooked on YouTube,
Well, it wasn't actually them saying we've got more pull than Liverpool. The Arsenal fans said Arsenal have the second best pull in the world, and then changed it to third best pull in the world. So when comments like that, I just have to, you know, I have to sit back and just ignore it, because if I entertain such tomfoolery, I'm just going to be wasting my breath. I'm sorry that to say you have the second or third best pull in the league. Sorry, in the world. Sorry, is just a little bit crazy to me. Especially as I said, I did flag that Chelsea have taken their targets, 2 of their targets when they were 10th, and Arsenal have the best season of their life. I did flag that up. So that's the answer.
Wait there. So what is he accusing you of? Did you say Arsenal had better pull than Liverpool? Because do you know if you did?
No,
Okay, you didn't.
No. Kiers and Casey said that. So Kiers said he thinks Arsenal right now are the second most attractive club in the world. And then we said,
okay, maybe not in the world. That's a bit of a wild statement, but I think they could be above us in many people's eyes right now.
they are. I think they are above us right now because they have Champions League football.
Yeah, and not even that. I think their project is more advanced than ours in many ways. Ours is uncertain. Theirs is kind of proven to a degree, and there's a culture already built. I think that's not a bad shout. If anyone was flipping at you for that, shout out to Edrin. Because you're not saying they're a bigger club overall, just one aspect where they're above us right now. Shout out to Edrin. He says, no lie, I kind of want this guy from Brazil. Andre looks like a menace. We will touch on that, but I suppose where we'll start, and shout out to Edrin for the super chat as well, sir. Big up to you. Always supporting this channel and whatnot. And big up to everybody. Smash a like. And guys, let's increase the subscribers of all the gentlemen here. The channel links will be in the description. They are in the description, should I say. So go and check there. Won't take it away and all that good stuff. Tom, you've got a tweet to address. So I don't know if anyone wants to read it out, but the consensus was you don't believe Liverpool need to go out and spend the additional millions. I perceive it to be the reason that it makes us look weak if we just give them what they want. Am I correct? And give yourself a defense.
So my whole point is, we today, what was it, 41 million? Was that the bid that got rejected? I've seen
42, I believe.
42. So I sit there and I went, I'm okay with the club. I'm actually happy with the club taking the stance of negotiating, of standing with their belief that no, Lavia isn't worth 50 million and we're not going to pay the 50 million. Because I sit there at this point and go, it looks a bit shit on you if you go 3 weeks in negotiations just to end up paying what they were asking for anyway. You've got to leave with something. So It's not that I don't want us to get Lavia. This is what the entire hour of the space I was clearing up. I want us to get Romeo Lavia. I want us to get Romeo Lavia in before the Chelsea game. But I don't want us to sit there tomorrow and go, here's £50 million. I'm
Tom,
happy
why are
to
you
sit
lying?
there.
Why are you lying?
How am I
I'll let
lying?
you speak for 2 hours if you want, but don't lie. That's not the point of the space. Don't buckle now. Say it as
I
it
never
is.
said it was the
Look
point
into
of
the
the space.
camera and say the
It's
truth.
what I said. I said it's what I spent the space doing.
Okay, so
I
so
spent
you
space
don't want
cleaning
to
up
pay
that.
50 million for Lavia because it sets a bad precedence. That's your argument.
Yes.
Very
So
well.
again, I said it earlier. I don't want us to pay the £50 million right now because I think it looks bad on you. I think if you've done 3 weeks of negotiating for this player, and you just end up caving in and paying the £50 million, when it comes, it's not like we don't have to address any more problem areas. So let's say we have to go and buy a centre back, and we find a centre back who his club value him at 45 million, and we go in with 30 million. What's going to stop that club from going, well, if we just wait long enough, as you're done with him, if we just wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll eventually just give us what we want. So
window will be done by then.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
I was going to say, like, it's getting short now, you know what I mean? And I just think, do you know what? Even though I hear what you're saying, that it doesn't look good if you just go and pay whatever, I think the market is already that manipulated to where you're going to have to pay an extortionate amount for a CDM anyway. So I think not the corruption, I think just the sequences of events that have led to Caicedo being 100 million, 19-year-old Lavia being 50 million. It's a market that FSG insert themselves into naturally when they are the owner of Liverpool Football Club. Oh, and by the way, they sell Fabinho. Here's my gripe, Tom. I think we need to include context. Would you agree, sir?
yes.
And context includes that, would you say reliable journalists were suggesting we were already linked with Lavia and wanting another midfielder before Hendo and Fabinho went?
100%.
That's important, isn't it? That's very important because now previous to getting 50 million funds, so irregardless of sell to buy or not sell to buy, 50 million funds was not in the budget at that point, yet we were still looking to get Lavia. And now it seems like it's going to be an either or situation with Andre and Lavia, which is a huge issue. And if Lavia is more established, which for my belief he is, I don't know much about Andre. I'd need to see more about Andre. But in my opinion, I think Lavia is someone who I think has got a ceiling. I think we can work with him. I think he can actually come in the short term and do all right as well. If we choose or opt out of paying 50 million opposed to the 42 we want to pay, I think that's a huge issue. And I do think it's another example of a top prospect that we wanted that would slip through our grasp. And I think that's a greater bad than the bad you're talking about.
I agree. I've not sat there and said we should just sit there at 42 million and that's it. We don't go up anymore and eventually sell on. No, I've said I reckon there's a deal to be done for 45. So I would want us to try and work on that deal for 45. My main priority is getting the negotiations done before the Chelsea game. I need them in for the Chelsea game. I'm not one of these ones who sits there and goes, maybe rightly or wrongly, I don't believe Romeo Lavia needs 6 preseason games to get ready. I think he's a very good player as is. He's got the fitness already. Maybe he could benefit more from tacticalness, like tactical training and tactical, playing with the team and playing against fucking Bayern and Darmstadt and whoever we've got left. Yes, that would probably help, but it's not going to be the deal breaker. The big thing that seemed to annoy people was when I said, I'm happy to wait until the end of the window for the other 2 pieces. So the centre-back and the other centre-mid, I don't need them in by the first game. If I have to wait until August 22nd to get my other centre-mid in, I'm happy. As long as I've got Romeo Lavia in by the first game of the season, then I'm happy with the squad that we've got for the first 3 games of the season. You get me your centre-back in that time frame. You get me your centre-mid in that time frame. And then from September onwards, you have your full squad, because Thiago and Bajcetic should be fit by then. You have your full squad ready and able for both competitions, i.e. the Europa League and the Premier League.
Go on, Monts.
I hear what you're saying in it, but like when I'm looking at 50 million for Lavia, at this point, again, it's not just down to timescale. I only just found this out not too long ago, but Lavia has 4 years left on his contract. Before I knew that, I was not valuing Lavia anywhere near 50 million. I'm saying 30 to 35, maybe rising to 40 and add-ons. Absolute maximum. maximum. But with 4 years left on his contract, 50 mil for a 19-year-old that is seen as Premier League proven.
Don't need to rush him out.
That's not. I'll be real. That's not too bad, isn't it? I'm looking at that thinking, you know what? Hey, here's your money because we got other business to deal with.
I agree. It's good value.
No, I do agree with the fact that, listen, we have other places that we need to focus on. We still need another centre mid, and of course, we need a centre back. I still think we need another right back. Personally, I think that's another place we need to look at that we haven't really looked at all. But at the end of the day, FSG right now, it's not just about the money; it's about the time. Liverpool don't have time, and we're looking at our squad, and we can already see the attacks fine. You can already see that midfield. There's now more creativity in the midfield. We've got legs in the midfield. Of course, we're still missing the DM. And of course, again, for me, the defense is it's scary how bad we are going backwards at times. It's very scary. And that does rely on the 6. I don't know, man. It's just, to me, if this was a month ago and we're trying to chop down the price, then fair enough. We've just made an excess of 53 million off of Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. And I generally believe that if we wasn't going for a centre back off, if we didn't have something in the pipeline, we'd probably have just paid that 50 million straight away. We made the money off of ourselves. We made money. I generally think money is going all towards a centre back. I don't want to hear whether it's Thuram or Andre. I'm saying if we want to act like a big club, go and get Lavia, as we should do. Go and get Andre back up. Have Bajcetic there as well to fight for his place, and then spend that 53 million excess that we've made plus whatever is left in the club on a centre back, and problem solved. The later you leave it, the worse it gets. We're not playing Wolves at home. We're not playing Wolves at home first day. We're at the Bridge. We're going to war. You know what I'm saying?
This might be where we differ, though. I'm not scared of Chelsea.
You're going to hear that crap Chelsea song, and
it doesn't mean you're scared of Chelsea, Tom. You need to have a ready team. You're missing the point. Hey, here's the thing. Let me just, as they say, just kind of carry on what Monts is saying, because Monts is spitting there. First of all, there's 3 different things. Us paying 50 million for a 45 million valuation is not us overpaying. It is about the money, because overpaying, setting bad precedents, is Rasmus Højlund, is Paul Pogba, is Mason Mount. That's setting a bad precedent. Kai Havertz is setting a bad precedent. If we value a player at 45 million and Southampton want 50 million for him, that does not mean that we are overpaying for the guy. We're not overpaying for the guy if that's how we look at his worth anyway, only 5 million more. And speaking of serious clubs, let me address a serious club. Another club who's meant to be in the title race next season, another serious club. They were involved in negotiations with David Raya 2 days ago. 2 days later, David Raya is an Arsenal player. That's how you act seriously. That's how you become a serious football club. Let me speak. That's how you challenge.
No, but he isn't, though.
You don't.
1 second. Personal terms.
Can I speak? Can I speak?
No, but you just said David Raya is an Arsenal player when he's not. The clubs haven't discussed it.
It's just personal terms.
It's just personal terms.
You'd have misinformation, Husam. You need to put him straight down.
Whatever. He's going to become an Arsenal player.
Lavia's agreed.
You know what Tom reminds me of? Let me tell you what Tom reminds me of. Tom reminds me of myself in a relationship. She sent me a whole paragraph. I respond to the most irrelevant part just to annoy her. That's what she does. That's what he just did.
Because you're spreading
I gave a whole paragraph.
I'm signing out.
I gave him a whole paragraph, and the guy responded to the most irrelevant sentence. Ignore that.
You need to understand, though. We are actually at the same stage as Arsenal are. Now it's a race for Arsenal to accelerate the process with Raya, because they've got the personal terms agreed. We've had personal terms agreed with Lavia. The only issue, we haven't got the terms agreed with the club. So it is technically at the same stage, but I do also hear what you're saying.
Can I tell you why it's not at the same stage?
Fine, go on.
Okay, I'll tell you why. They had a Rob Holding issue last season. They fixed it.
Tuesday.
Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal had a Rob Holding problem, because whenever Holding played instead of Saliba, they looked like shit. They fixed it. Jury and Timber. Right. They had a problem with the DM position. Declan Rice. They had a problem with depth. Kai Havertz. Done. Just fixing problems straight up. None of this BS.
Are we not going to fix our problems, though?
Let me just take it back to Liverpool now. This is the exact opposite for us. Lack of seriousness. No seriousness whatsoever. Let me explain to you what a serious football club does. What a serious football club does is, as soon as Fabinho out through the door, there's a new DM in through the door. Simple as. That's how you act like a serious football club. Now, we're sat there with essentially Thiago, who's made from Weetabix, Curtis Jones, who, at best is iffy. Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. And, Bajcetic, who we are the reason why he's injured to begin with, because we ran that kid into the ground, and he's built like TomL1ttle, so it doesn't really fit the Premier League physicality. So essentially, we got Szoboszlai and McAllister, but TomL1ttle thinks paying 5 million more for Romeo Lavia sets a bad precedent for the rest of the transfer window that we might not even have, because we might easily wake up one day and the club's like, oh guys, we're not going to sign a centre back because the club really believes in Quansah. Quansah is the centre back of the future, so we're not going to get a centre back. Would any of you be surprised if that happened?
So straight again, Husam, you go straight to DEFCON 1. You go straight to the nukes are dropping on Anfield. It's the worst case scenario. What is not? So my whole point is.
Are you saying that because I'm Middle Eastern?
No. Why would that? DEFCON 1 has nothing to do with Middle Eastern. It's to do with COD zombies. Look at that. What is this?
I don't believe this. Race card.
I don't believe this.
Also, Tom, speaking of Speaking of professionalism, why are you drinking on stream? Did you ask James for permission? What if he gets demonetized? You don't see me smoking on the stream.
In fact, yeah, Tom, how did you not know that Bud Light didn't sponsor me for this show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How did you know that? And you're just going to fuck me?
I mean, I don't know.
That's why you're
just going to fuck the finances of JRTV. Is that the way that we're going?
I'll pay you whatever you were paying. I just want to drink. So I'm subscribers for that long.
I can't lie. Sam is applying.
He's an alcoholic at the age of 16.
It's mad.
Fucking bastard.
What is Sam applying?
He's applying the Gengo press to Tom, and Tom is just kicking the ball out of play right now. He's not even passing the back. He's not moving press resistant at all.
Let me just read through these super chats. Chat, who do you think won that so far? Who do you think got more of a point? Do you think Tom's onto something, or do you reckon Husam's just headed him? Shout out to Shane. He says, I need to once again reiterate to Husam, if Ramos comes, Salah will leave. No, that won't happen. Ramos isn't coming. And I don't think he would leave if Ramos was to come in. Does anyone agree or disagree?
Ramos played with Messi at PSG.
That's
they
true
almost
as well.
killed each other in El Clásicos. What are we doing here?
That's right. Shout out for Shane for the double up super chat. He's always supporting. Exactly, Monts W with everything you just said. Monts, you're just speaking facts, bro. Know what I'm saying? Besides about your height, I mean, you're always speaking facts. Shout out to Sheba. He says, I remember my first beer. What's that? Is that out of Grown Ups or something? It's out of loads of films, isn't it? Know what I mean? It's not just there.
Put up Teej's comment. Big up Teej, man.
Teej, why? What's he saying? Teej? Husam is a 4-0 up like Liverpool versus Arsenal. Jeez, is anyone back on Tommy?
I done the Firmino and I sat you down.
But then you could easily just go to the next one. You could easily just go to the next one when it says Husam's chatting crap. So
no, look at Shane paid money to say that I was correct. Can you imagine? Shane paid a $5 to say.
No, he didn't. He said, "Let me correct you." He said you were wrong.
No, he's making my point even stronger because he's saying the replacement should come in not only after Fabinho walks out. He's saying he should be here even before. And TomL1ttle saying it's okay that we haven't signed Lavia yet. I want to play Curtis Jones 6 at Stamford Bridge because I'm a fighter idiot. You haven't learned anything from last season.
Sam, when did I say that? What's the one thing I've said?
You're a little bastard.
What's the one thing I've said? I want Lavia in for Chelsea. At no point did I say I want Jones playing in the 6.
Okay, then, Tom, let's establish then. Would you pay 50 million for Lavia if necessary?
If another club comes in and pays that, then yeah.
Okay, then, so what's the difference of us paying 50 million for him now and then if a club comes in and pays that for him?
For me, anyway, it's a different sort of thing. It's my head. It's fucking... I don't need anyone to agree with me. It's just my head and why I would do it.
Do you know what I think?
You know what? Yeah, you booted the ball out of play now. You've literally you've resorted to it's my opinion, guys. It's my opinion, guys. You can't tell me what my opinion should be, guys. Oh,
yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what, though? Do you know what wouldn't be an issue? We wouldn't have this issue worrying about a CDM playing against Chelsea if Fabinho didn't leave. Now, listen, I was on a very particular boat with Fabinho. I wanted him to leave myself. I thought it was a great opportunity to acquire £40 million for a player. It's like if you get an iPhone 6 when the iPhone 6 comes out and you pay £400 for the iPhone 6, and now I got the iPhone 6 in 2018 and I've still got it in 2023, just an example, and you offer me the same £400 for this said iPhone 6. That is a steal, irregardless of inflation.
However,
irregardless.
no, but Hammers, it is a steal because you got it for the same price. However, how much would the latest iPhone cost? Probably double that price.
I'm speaking about the iPhone 6 if it's in reference to being the latest iPhone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying so. But the new DM is still going to cost more. The new DM, he's already costing more, and he's 19.
No, exactly. With inflation, and we've been able to accommodate £40 million of that transfer with Fabinho. Exactly. So I agree that he should have went. But now I raise the suspicions of somebody like Husam, who would sit there and say, well, I don't think we're going to replace him. And here we are right now. We're discussing over the Lavia situation. Will that happen? And FSG seem more reluctant on that transfer. I think they're just holding the guns. I think it's a little bit of PR to try and see if Southampton will budge. I do think they decided to play the game. But I don't know. What's your input? Husam, what do you think about the Fabinho sale?
Yeah, what do you think, Husam?
What do you think?
Big up
Because I think I
Fabinho.
disagree.
Big up to first of all, sorry, James, this is your channel, but I have to address this guy. Big up to the guy who sent in a super chat. Thank you for your support to JRTV. Continue to send in super chats. Continue to like. Continue to subscribe. But you're calling me a common L. You fucking bozo, and you can't even spell my name correctly. Just because I have a beard, my name doesn't have to be Hassan. You idiot. It's Husam. Husam. I don't see you calling James Thomas. Anyway, so here's the thing when it comes to this entire situation with Fabinho. Fabinho is a Liverpool legend. Fabinho is the best DM we had since Graham Souness. That's the fact of the matter with this football club. Now, I wasn't against us selling.
The Mascherano.
Come on, Tom. Tom, when Mascherano played, you were 3 years old. This is what I'm saying. You never even watched fucking Mascherano, bro. When you started watching football, Mascherano played for Barca. So let the older head speak, Tom.
Sam, I was at Anfield when Mascherano was playing. I'll pull that card if I need to. I was at Anfield when Mascherano played.
Yeah, you were about 3 years old.
How old was I?
Probably wearing nappies. Anyway, as I was saying regarding Fabinho,
I was about 8 when
the reason why I was
played.
against the sale of Fabinho, because people kept saying from a financial perspective, right? And you guys are right. But I don't look at Liverpool as the supermarket. I look at Liverpool as Liverpool Football Club. I want to win. My logic was a very simple logic. People got upset at my logic, but my logic was keep Fabinho here and sign Lavia. Because that way you can help and strengthen Lavia's development. Come learn under Fabinho. And I can only use Fabinho. All I have to do is play Fabinho once a week. Now, if you sell Fabinho, the next step should be get a DM straight away. Why? So the DM could play against Bayern. He could play against Darmstadt or some other or whatever the hell other team we play in preseason. He could get some fitness and we could start him away at Chelsea. Because what I do not want is Curtis Jones or Trent or anyone playing DM. We cannot shoehorn players first game of the season. Because the one thing I will not understand is people making the same mistake over and over again. Why are we repeating mistakes? How are we unprepared for the second summer running?
Exactly, Husam. How can people be making the same mistakes again? Honestly, one of the same mistakes this club has done is hold on to players for too long and lose the chance to sell them while they're still with son.
And not pay enough for players like Lavia. But you think it's a bad
but you sat there and said you would keep Fabinho because he can be a good mentor to Lavia for a year. But then we lose out on money for him and we hold on to him for too long. And then all of a sudden, we're back at square one where we've been with Henderson, with Wijnaldum, with Mane, because we held on to them for too long and missed the boat to sell. And also, what happened? This is a genuine question to you. If we were to sign Lavia on August 8th, after all the preseason friendlies, Lavia joins Liverpool on August 8th, are you starting up at Stamford Bridge?
No. But
what?
That actually depends who we have available. But Tom, I know this.
Thiago and Bajcetic aren't going to be available for me.
Tom, I hear your question, but I now just have a thought. It's just come to my head. Tom, you said you're worried about how Liverpool are going to look if we front the money after trying to, edge closer and closer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would Liverpool look if we were linked for someone for so long, sold our DM that we have, and just don't get Lavia? How do
And
you
it's
look
also
at
like one of the other players that we've missed, like a key player that Jurgen Klopp wanted. If you want to throw in Bellingham, we missed out on Bellingham. If you even want to be shameless and throw in Mbappe, we missed out on Mbappe. Even Mbappe came out and said he wanted to join. That's another key star. Now, Lavia isn't the name value of said other two players, but Jurgen really wants him. Pep identified him at City, one of the top prospects out of Belgium. I think that's an issue if we don't go and get that player after all this talk and hype.
I mean, if you don't get Lavia, it looks bad on the club. My whole stance is I believe we will get Lavia. I believe it's negotiation tactics. Hence why 2 hours after the bid got rejected, all of a sudden, Andre Trindade from fucking Brazil.
I agree with him, boys.
Thing, and,
I agree
the
with Tom.
DM for Liverpool. So I look at that and I go, they're trying to get them down. And when they've done this in the past, they normally do it right. So I'm willing to let them play it out, try and get the price down, because unlike Husam, I'm one of the people who doesn't think Romeo Lavia is going to need 30 minutes against Darmstadt.
It's not. It's not about. I don't even think Hassan's point is that he needs the minutes in pre-season. Tom, what you're doing right now, again, you're receiving the ball and you're not checking your shoulders. And no one's even calling man on. You're playing in a team that has no communication and you're not checking your shoulders. Do you know what that is? That's suicidal and it's going to get you injured. Now, do you know who's over our shoulder? The guys who just spent 600 million, who are struggling to get this Caicedo deal over the line. So if that doesn't happen, we now have men that have more money than us who are willing to spend. Do you think they're going to dwindle over 50 million? That's my thought.
Monts, we go back to what I said earlier. We go back to exactly what I said earlier. If Chelsea came in, then you pay what you need to get it done because the situation changes. My stance as of now.
How do we look then? We still look bad. We look worse. But
Monts, you don't look worse because we didn't look worse when we brought in Luis Diaz, even though Tottenham wants them.
No.
We didn't look worse. We didn't look worse when we got Cody Gakpo. United wants them.
That happened in a day. This has happened in a day. It's happened over 5 weeks.
It hasn't happened over 5 weeks because the first bid went in a week ago.
Yes. But,
my God.
But we've been linked to him for time.
We've been linked with Ryan Gravenberch for 2 months. So are we going to get annoyed that Ryan Gravenberch isn't coming in?
This is what I mean by you're not checking your shoulders. It's not just us who are showing interest in this player. This is not a one-horse race where we can take our time. It's not about, forget the preseason. We know he's good enough in the Premier League. We know he's good enough. That's not the point. He's talented. We know the kid's good. You know what I'm saying? It's just again,
on that fraud.
If we do not get this over the line or we want to dilly-dally, again, I just feel like, Tom, I understand where you're coming from, but I just feel like you're not checking your shoulder. And you're gonna turn out and then right through the back of the car.
My point
50 million bid plus add-ons from Chelsea.
No, but my point comes from we clearly have the money. We clearly have the money because if the club were trying to suggest that they don't have the money, they're lying bastards, which I'm not going to rule out. But logic dictates you've just made £52 million from transfers. You have enough to pay whatever Chelsea will pay, which is the 50 million. I'm also banking on the fact that Romeo Lavia wants to join Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has rang him about 6 times, like a fucking teenager with the first bird, saying all the things that she wants to hear. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm this, that, and the other. Will it get delivered? Probably not, but who gives a shit? It gets them through the door. So, with all that considered...
I was going to say something really disrespectful, but I stopped myself. I was like...
I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. Look at this, man. Look, at the end of the day, I look at it and I go, this club, when it gets the chance to negotiate, normally does it well. So I'm willing to give them the time to negotiate. This is not me saying that if we're still in negotiations for this player on August 17th before Bournemouth, I'm happy because I'm not. You have to get Lavia in through the door quickly. But unlike certain people who want the 50 million bid in tomorrow so it's accepted, I'm happy to sit there and go, if you want to take 4 or 5 days, get it negotiated down a little bit because that's what this club does. And I think it looks better on the club. Then do that. As long as he is in for the first game of the season, that is the most important factor. Whether Chelsea come in or not, if Chelsea come in, I have enough confidence in this football club because we've beaten out about 6 different teams for transfer battles this summer alone. How many teams wanted McAllister, apparently? United, Chelsea, Pochettino was a big fan of him. How many wanted Newcastle?
I can't believe you keep missing the point every single second. Like, You actually
Like
keep
that.
missing the point.
So yeah, Husam, you reiterate the point, Tom, you respond, and then I'm going to read the super chats.
Because Tom keeps missing the point, bro. You keep missing the point. Us paying 50 million for Romeo Lavia does not set any bad precedents in any way, shape, or form. Because our valuation away from Southampton is just 5 million. That's it. We don't value the player. If what that journalist said, 1 second, if what that journalist said is true and they want 60 million, then you're right. then it sets a bad precedent. But if I'm only 5 million away from what Southampton Football Club want, I would rather pay that so I could get Lavia in here in pre-season, play football for Liverpool Football Club. So when Stamford Bridge time comes, he is ready because we know how Klopp moves. He doesn't like to just throw guy in the deep end.
Oh,
so if he played,
you've done it again.
If he played, why are you moving like a nerd who's playing on a PS3?
No, because you've done the same thing that every dry narrative is. You've done the same thing every dry narrative is about Jurgen Klopp. He doesn't like to throw players in the deep end. How many players didn't start straight away for Jurgen Klopp that he signed at Liverpool?
Change that to in the midfield.
In the midfield?
There
was a lot. Are we talking about who went and who came in?
It still works in the midfield.
Attackers get thrown in straight away. But
yeah, okay, fine. It still works in the midfield. So, Husam, what midfielders didn't start straight away?
Fabinho.
Yep.
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah. That's
Naby Keita.
Naby Keita started straight away.
No, he didn't.
Naby Keita started the first 3 games of the season.
But then he didn't start again.
Because he got injured against Napoli.
Yeah.
Listen, it is
started all the games.
Okay.
Robertson's another reference.
Hold on. There's not a lot of
It's
midfielders.
3 new
We
midfielders.
signed about one of them in 8 windows.
So,
we don't have a lot of midfielders to choose from.
Monts, I've done this, so I can go through it because I've had to explain this to people. Jurgen Klopp has signed, I think, 6 midfielders. It might be 5 or 6. Want to go through it? I don't know. But Gini Wijnaldum started straight away. Oxlade-Chamberlain didn't.
Yeah, but we had no other option at the time.
Like, we have no other option now?
No, we do. Your cousin.
What, McConnell?
No, Curtis Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like me saying, oh, we did have an option at the time. Lucas Leiva was still at the club. So
don't just be disingenuous.
No, I'm not being disingenuous.
Lucas Leiva wasn't at the club.
Yes, he was. When Naby Keita joined, Lucas Leiva was at the club.
When Naby Keita signed, he wasn't.
When Naby Keita signed, we had James Bond at the club.
Yeah, and also Wijnaldum wasn't a DM either. Wijnaldum isn't a DM either, you shameless.
I was on it. Right, okay. It's beyond the point. My point is, Wijnaldum started straight away. Ox didn't. Fabinho didn't. Keita did. Thiago did. And right now, we've got McAllister and Szoboszlai, who one of them minimum is starting straight away. Possibly even both of them. So what's this narrative that Jurgen Klopp doesn't throw in players straight away? When he's
okay, you know what? I'm wrong for that
midfielders he signed have started straight away.
Okay, I'm wrong for that narrative. Do you want Lavia before Chelsea? Do you want Lavia to be ready for Chelsea? Okay, so why are you sat here just giving us all a headache? Why?
No, but
so you agree then? Should we get Lavia in? Yes or no? Just yes or no?
He says yes.
Okay, so you want Lavia before Chelsea, right?
Yes.
Is 5 million worth all this bullshit?
Yeah, he thinks it's worth it, he thinks it's worth it to get him before Chelsea if we can save a couple of extra million. That's what he's saying.
5 million.
And I think I understand who. No, I understand.
In 2023 is like
the owners we've got.
The
owners we've got. You know how much a cheapskate FSG are.
Nah, FSG are scumbags regardless. The scumbags are regardless. But I do understand. Like I do kind of get where Tom's coming from. It's not end of the world type stuff, even though it would be ideal to have them in pre-season. Let me just read through these super chats. Guys, please be sure to smash a like. Be sure to go subscribe to the boys as well, because we collaborate on all of each other's channels. So, guys, if you want to see the maximum content out of all of us, you've got to subscribe to everyone. Anyway, shout out to Nil. I always struggle with that name, Litterpal.
Nilotpal, that's my guy. Big up Nilotpal, man.
Nilotpal.
Yes, Nilotpal.
Nilotpal. Okay, that's good. That's good. Shout out to you, Nilotpal. But James, you know this owner. You can't be sure they will spend fab money, which is exactly the situation now. Very true. And if they don't, that is now more fuel to the fire that I can add to say now they need to go, because even on a transfer basis, they're being scandalous like the way they have been scandalous. So I do agree. I just also aligned with the idea there is no excuse if they sell Fabinho for 40 mil for us to not go out and now not only get one midfielder, but two midfielders. So I think we're on the same page there, TomL1ttle pal, for sure. And thank you for the super chat. Donny LFC, he says, at this point right now, we have spent 35 million net this window. Disgrace, rebuild my whole team. I'm just going to hope he's saying there. I hope he's not talking about his whole, you know what I'm saying? Listen, lad, I'm on the same page, boys. Even though I understand the close sell to buy thing and the net spend stuff, we got a great deal for McAllister, which should really make us think, okay, then, well, now if we've got a great deal for McAllister and Szoboszlai, gives us more room to now go out there and get other players. Because think, if all these people were going to go, all these midfielders, and we were able to get Jude Bellingham for 80 million, that's now significant funds, or let's say even if it was more, 80 million pounds, but then, agent fees and all these things, wages over the course of a season, that was being big money, limiting more players to come in. And that's why I just sit there and I think to myself, if you're not going to get that one big player, but you've shown you had the muscles to go and get him, where's all these new options and actual, like, the quantity of faces, more of a volume of faces that bring quality as well? I think that's what's missing. So, no, I think that's a good point. I don't know if any of you want to touch on that as well.
Fuck FSG. 35 million
FSG.
isn't enough.
First time I've agreed with Husam on stream.
Jeez. FSG out all the way. Cyberzone says, at this rate, just put me Nan in the 6. Joke. Hey, listen, I'll put me Nan in the 6. You know what I mean? She'll probably do better than what we've had there in recent times. And I think, and that's in a current condition, you know what I mean? God rest their soul. So shout out to H4R1. Husam has worse takes than, at least you got your name right, Husam. Who's any old...
Yeah, at least you spelled my name right. Well done.
I was
Thank you for
say,
the 2 pound super chat. Big
isn't
up,
that the bird who said Mikel Arteta rang Pep Guardiola to ask him to bid for Declan Rice?
Low key, though, she kind of like had a point in the end, you know?
Yeah, she is.
Like, she got slandered for that, you know what I mean? Like,
she might have been onto something.
Honestly, I think she was. Even at the time, I thought everyone was being a bit arse on her, you know, because if we have a bad take, it gets slanted. But if a woman has a bad take, that gets fucked, lads. You know what I mean? Yeah, and they all just say it's because you're a man. And she got attacked for that one. I thought it was a decent little shout on me. Last super chat before we continue for the remainder. We've got about 8 minutes left before the boys will have to shoot. Okay, let me apologise for the misspelling of your name, says Shane. Honest mistake. No offence, mate. No offense. My point is, I would have gotten the CDM when last season ended due to how much of a shell his former self he was. So I think he's referencing.
Shane, I'm not. I was talking about you misspelling my name. I was talking about H4R1 misspelling my name. You have nothing to do with it. I'm saying me and you agree. And thank you for the super. You're a great guy, man. I'm just talking about that other idiot. Big up to you. Love
shout
to
out
you,
to
Shane.
We all love Shane. He's boss, lad.
Yeah, we all love Shane, man.
Oh, yeah, Shane just even sent another one there. Big up to Shane. FSG are so stingy. They would use car installments for a Greg's meal deal. I'm not going to lie. That's what millionaires do, you know, boys. Like, any chance they get to save money, they will save money. And it's no different in this instance.
That's why they're millionaires. That's probably why they're millionaires.
No, it's exactly why the millionaires, because we're all right spending a couple of quid here and there on a Mackies and that, you know what I mean? They're not doing that. They're using coupons and shit, you know what I'm saying? They're just looking at it like efficiency, like as long as I'm filled up, I'm all good. Boys, is there anything else that's been going on in the footballing world of YouTube? Because I'm not going to lie, this midfield stuff pissing me off. I know we've got a good attack. I'm excited for the attack. I know that the midfield needs to be amplified. But yeah, do you know what I will ask? Yeah, go on.
Centre-back?
Centre-back. What the fuck's going on with centre-back? And do you know what, though? I actually want to ask you one by one. We'll start with Husam, and then we'll go to Monts, and then we'll go to Tom. I want to ask about what does this window need to finish as for you not to scratch your eyes out? Because right now, if we finish with just Sobbo and McAllister, we're scratching our eyes out, correct? So what more do we need to add on what we've got to be like, okay, that's a good window, and Klopp has actually been back this time?
You know, when speaking of McDonald's or any fast food restaurant or any place you go to, you would all get pissed off if you just go there and there's something missing every single time. Because TomL1ttle behind the counter can't get your order right. That's the problem.
What the fuck is this?
That's the problem. TomL1ttle can't get your order right. So he forgets to put in the fries. And now you come home and you're like, where the fuck are my fries? And you start leaning back like TomL1ttle and you hold the mic and you start scratching your head and you get bare pissed off because there are no fries. Or you come home and there's no Coke. So now your throat is moving like the Sahara Desert because there's no liquid to put this burger down with. Or even worse, you forget the burger. Now, let's take that into football terms. The burger is Romeo Lavia because we desperately need a DM. The Coke, which is going to help us ingest all of this, is the center back. And the fries are the other DM. You need it, but you could live without it. You could live technically without it as long as you get your burger and Coke. Now, the reality is, if we get Romeo Lavia, the last thing I need is a James Spears dagger to the ass, as he always does, because he never stabs you in front of your face. He always stabs you in the back parts of your body. So the last thing I need is the James Spears dagger. Jurgen Klopp looking to use Kwanzaa as a serious centre-back option next season. And if that happens, then we're back to the same old crap over and over.
Then we're getting
over.
fingers on a week-to-week basis. And
100%. And for me, you look at the centre-back situation, and I've never been one of them tacticos who go like, oh my God, LCB, RCB, ball progressive, ball carrying actions. I don't give a fuck about none of that. We have 4 injury-prone centre-backs. By definition, we need a centre-back. Full stop. So because any point in time, Konate goes down for more than 2 minutes, we're all like, oh my God, is Konate injured here? The same thing with Virgil van Dijk. We get real scared. And now let's not talk about, Ice Spice and Bambi on Ice on the bench, because then it's going to get real sticky for everyone watching. When Ice Spice starts twerking for Mitoma again, or Bambi on Ice starts skating through the pitch and getting dragged down while he's doing the Dougie on the pitch, no one wants to address that. The reality is, those two are not good enough. That's another reason. I would rather get a new centre-back and Kwanzaa than rely on those two. If you're going to play Ice Spice, I'm okay with him playing right back. I am not okay with him playing centre-back. I'm not okay with him even being in that area. You could play him at right back. That's fine by me. But for me, the truth is, as soon as Lavia walks through the door, we need a centre-back. The moment he steps foot into this club, we need a centre back. So that takes ultimate priority for me. And also, by the way, let me just make something clear. For all the people who think like this is like, me and Tom are getting heated or something, this ain't heated. This is
oh no, this is level 1.
Yeah, you don't even know heated. Yeah,
you not wearing the face area.
TomL1ttle. All you have to do.
Wait there, you can't use this as a heated in the title. This is the nicest that they've ever been to each other.
Yeah,
you do not see them get nicer to each other than this.
You should have seen the space earlier. Sam had to physically stand up and have a stroll because I angered him that much.
He thinks £5 million, which is like 500k, 10 years ago, is gonna set a bad precedent.
It will do.
Sam,
Tom, your football. I have a challenge for you.
Hold on, you've had your waffle. You've had your waffle session. Let Monts have a talk.
Tom, good opinion challenge.
Appreciate you, Tom. Joe Gomez can never play centre back for my club ever again.
Wait there, so like sort of like you've just had a baby, you leave it on the doorstep, like the Grinch type idea. Like now you can do one.
Yep, and then and it's not one of those ones where it comes back and grows up and does the whole legacy thing. No, he can never play centre back for Liverpool Football Club again. Right back, we can think about it, but he can never play centre back for my club again.
Thank you.
What you doing a Phil Jones on Joe Gomez?
Yes. No, he can play right back. No, he can play right back.
Oh,
he can play right back. Like I've actually watched him quite carefully at right back, and I think people have been quite harsh on him. I think defensive stability and his forward passing isn't too bad. He's fine, but again, that's right back though. I'm even people are gonna hate me for this one. You're not gonna hate me for this one. You're not gonna think I've had a 10-10 stream apart from this. I also think that as long as you play this inverted role, Konate is in big trouble. Konate is everything you want in a centre-back, by the way. Strength, speed. He's French and African. he's got a great hairline. Do you know what I'm saying? His recovery tackles. He's everything you want in this. He doesn't quite have the gold tooth like Rudiger does, but he's everything you want in the centre back, innit? You know what I'm saying? But
yo, Monts, hold that one sec. Husam's got a dusty real quick, so I just want him to say ta-ra to people because he's got his show on his channel, which I'm going to be wrapping up in the next 5 or whatever. So, guys, once you're done here, go straight over today. Husam, anything you want to say, bro?
Yes, I want to say big up to James Redmond TV. Big up to the James Redmond community. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. And I'm about to go talk Chelsea, Arsenal, and United with a bunch of rivals, but I got a shameless City fan on there to just fucking annoy everyone. So I'm just going to sit back, grab my popcorn, and enjoy the show. So make sure you guys are liking, subscribing. Big up James, big up Monts, big up Tom. And listen, I want to clarify, me and Tom are not heated or anything. This is my guy. I'm the reason why he's on YouTube anyway. I recruited him from the spaces. See you guys later, man. Love.
Peace out to Sam. Peace out. Guys, go subscribe to him as well. He'll be back on the channel soon. Monts, you want to carry on with that point?
Yeah, with Konate, you see up here?
Yeah, man.
I feel like he has a lot to learn. And I feel like with Konate as a fan base, we ignore his shortcomings way too much. He has way more bozo moments than we give him credit for one. He has, and also I've realized that when he has to do the whole right back and centre back thing, while Trent kind of goes on his adventures, he's very rash to dive in, and he comes off his line, and then Van Dijk looks exposed. I actually think Konate is too rash for Van Dijk, and Van Dijk is too laid back for Konate. I don't actually think it's actually a great partnership at this moment in time. I think Konate still being a young centre back.
See, I agree. I think the partnership is one to be quite. It doesn't have that same complementary effect that Matip and Virgil van Dijk one does. So I agree.
Do you know what that is though? Because what we've seen from our centre backs, the 2 best years we've seen, it being 18-19, 19-20, and you could even throw 21-22, the pod challenging season. You can even throw that one in there. The difference we saw in our centre backs was that even when it was Joe Gomez in 1920, or when it was Matip in 18-19, what do those guys have in common? They can play ball and they actually have intelligence. Joe Gomez is nowhere near as strong, as tall, or as fast as Konate. But the difference is that they're able to play the ball through the lines successfully to Trent or to whoever's in midfield, or they can ping 50 yarders each way. They were just basically very intelligent with the ball at their feet, especially Joe Matip. If you aren't very good or you need improving technically on the ball, it's going to take that second longer to get the ball to Trent, especially when we didn't have
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying. That comment,
you know what I mean? I just feel like
hear what you're saying though.
We need ball playing centre backs, but you know, and that's
why. Do you know what though? If we want to be a more on the ball team, which Jürgen Klopp hinted at in that long interview we done a week ago or so, like I think we need ball playing centre backs. Like if you want to reference Lisandro Martinez, and I understand he got turned inside out by Mo Salah, but overall he's actually like a good on the ball playing centre back. And I think there's many options that you can get out of there. I just don't think we're in the market for them. I don't see a world where we end this window with a centre back.
Yeah,
I don't know how it happens.
He's a great. Listen, I think Konate, in a certain system, you could probably put him in argument with certain defenders you wouldn't dream of, like Saliba. I think Saliba is clear of Konate, but the only reason is it doesn't matter how good you are. Cool. Let me give you one example. Let me give this example, James. Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold can't defend, but guess what? We had the best defensive record for 3 years.
That's right. So you can find a way to make it work, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Konate, easily one of the best. If you're talking to bro, Konate played football in the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s. He would, come on. Who's getting past him? Tell me who's getting past him. But Konate playing with Van Dijk now, and people are going to say, yeah, it's the midfield. No. Konate playing now, what is it like for Liverpool? At times, it's not worked. I'd rather a player be perfect for the system than be traditionally good in their position. And we've shown that with the likes of Zinchenko, Cancelo, Trent Alexander-Arnold. You could even say certain other wing backs when they've come through. That's what it is, man. I'm not saying I don't rate Konate, by the way, because the chat thinks I'm saying he's washed. He's not
I understand. Chat. Use that same energy when you think about Matip and Gomez versus Matip and Van Dijk. You see a completely different Matip, you know what I mean? Because systematically, I think he's less confident being around Joe Gomez than what he is Van Dijk. For instance, it's like Man United right now with Onana. They're more confident passing back to the goalkeeper because it's a goalkeeper who can actually play on the ball, opposed to a guy who couldn't get the ball. Like, do you remember the foreign kid who's always going goal in school and he could barely kick a ball? You know what I mean? I only know that because there was a guy called Dennis in our school. He was from Hungary and he couldn't kick a ball for shite. And no one would pass it to him for that reason. And it's the same with a poor goalkeeper. If you're going to easily lose the ball, then it's a problem. Boys, I don't want to keep this for too long, man. I do want to sort of touch on the captaincy. Does anyone want to give a brief opinion on the captaincy situation? Was you surprised? Are you happy to see Trent O'Neill get his vice cap?
Over the moon for him. I'll let Tom go, but I'm over the moon.
I mean, I'm always someone who has thought that it's always better for the club when there's a Scouser, at least vice captain. But I prefer captain. You know, having a Scouser lead the team is something that I always believe should happen. I've also just found out that apparently that Andre fella that we're after, he plays tonight, and if they get smashed, then they might sell him they might sell him like soon instead of in January. So. And apparently
he's getting a double swoop for midfielders then?
I think there's a possibility of it. I think there's a real possibility of it.
Yeah.
I would love it. I mean, I obviously I went to get another drink right here, just talking about the centre-back thing.
Yeah.
I know Joyce mentioned it today in his article about how they were still interested, but the lack of a name is what sort of made me go, no idea, no clue what's really going on here, because with every other one, there's been names mentioned. With this one, it's just been, they have dreams of Levi Colwill, but nothing's ever really going to come of them, and then nothing else. So for me to commit in on it, I'm going to need to see more. But I think I can imagine what Monts is going to say about the captaincy thing. I don't know if it's the best thing for Van Dijk. Because
I agree.
When I look at Virgil van Dijk, when he's captain, I think I've said it to you before, James, it reminds me of Hippier, in the sense that you've got a really good centre-back who loses a little bit of themselves when they're captain. So I figured maybe it'd be better for someone like a Trent or a Robertson or an Alisson to get the captain's armband and have it elevate them on a level while you take the unnecessary pressure off Virgil van Dijk, who is one of the most pressurised players in the squad. Just avoid. I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. He looks good with the captain's armband. He's a natural leader. He was always going to be touted for that role. But the way that he's talked about with the likes of the Netherlands and how those pundits and those fans don't think he's a very good captain, there's a difference between being a natural leader and a captain. And I think that's something that Virgil van Dijk might not have the best grip on. And that's not a knock against the player, because he's still an incredible defender.
See, I disagree. I think he has got a lot of natural leader attributes about him. I think he's that type of dude. But you know who I think's more of a leader, though? Alisson.
Ali Becker.
I'm on the Ali train, beat me, boys, like above anybody. I think Van Dijk's got more room for complacency in his personality, whereas I think Alisson, he's just the most calm, composed.
Alisson's not allowed complacency with the way we fucking play.
Bro, he's got to be composed at all times, and he can literally be 1-on-3 and he still saves the ball. Like, I love that dude. And you know what? Yeah, like I've got a pit. I've always got personal bias with Alisson. You know, I'm a Christian. He's a Christian, and he advocates God on all stages that he can talk about.
Let him baptize me.
Yeah, you're on it, lad. Like, that's what I'm saying. He's just a cool dude, lad. Like, he's smart, he's intelligent, he preaches the word. Like, it takes a very certain type of person to do that. So I've got a lot of bias. What?
He's good on the guitar as well. Always something to look forward to.
It, lad. He's just one of those dudes where, like, you feel if anybody was going to be Superman in disguise, it's that dude. You know what I mean? Like a guy who just plays footy on the weekends, saving shots. Yeah.
I'm just with the Van Dijk thing. I feel like whenever he gets that armband, he just loses his stats. You know the down arrow you get in FIFA where you drop like a whole 3 overalls.
Oh, do you think that's like a minus attributes card?
That is a Virgil van Dijk thing. Like whenever he has the armband, for me, his legends don't rate him. I've not really rated him. I think he's had the armband over like 40 times to Liverpool, but they're telling us, something's going to change with the captaincy. But if you know the order actually goes Henderson, Milner, then Van Dijk, Henderson and Milner are gone. Now Van Dijk's the captain. So what's changed? Nothing's changed. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe there's going to be some sort of leadership. We have leaders in the squad, but for me, I would have gone with Alisson. Trent is again, Gerrard got the captaincy at 23, I believe. Trent's 24 now, so I wouldn't even have been against Trent having the armband. Alisson definitely would have been one to having the armband. Robbo, that guy would put his head through a brick wall. Even I wouldn't mind him having the armband. But Virgil van Dijk, not really with that. But again, it's up to him to prove it. He said how much of an honor it is. You know what I'm saying? But you know, even Mo Salah as a vice captain, I wouldn't have minded that as a vice captain. Maybe leading by example, but the Virgil van Dijk thing, we'll have to see. All he has to, is prove it to us. We're going to get behind him because we're Liverpool fans, so we're going to back him.
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he makes me look like the biggest dickhead about.
100%.
I think here's the determining factor on Virgil being good or not is if he's good or not. I think if he plays well, everyone thinks he's a good captain. If he plays shit, everyone thinks he's going to be a shit captain. Because it's always about the performance above anything else.
Yeah, like, I think we're very much a fan base that I think it. Well, for me anyway, Stevie, when I watched him, wasn't a captain who shouted at people. He was one of them ones who performed so well that everyone else had to perform at a higher level because he was the captain, and you don't want to perform that much worse. You got to perform at the levels that your captain says. Henderson, he was a shouter. Whether he was someone who led by example, that happened at points, but it wasn't a consistent thing. Virgil van Dijk,
Henderson on a wider basis was considered quite shit before we started winning trophies, and that's just important to note. That is important to note.
Before 18-19 was not really rated, had two really good years, and then fell off a cliff again.
That's right.
My God, them 2 good years really helped them out. I still think we owe Kevin De Bruyne an apology for giving Jordan Henderson Player of the Year over him when he matched the Premier League assist record.
That's right.
That is something that you might be due a little apology for that one. But look, I always prefer my captains to lead by example. I think a lot of players shout, but it takes a special captain to set the tempo and set the level for the team. And Van Dijk can do that, but in the past couple of years, it's been hard to see. Maybe getting the captain's armband to elevate him, and the added responsibility, the added pressure makes him step up a level, and I hope it does. But based off of everything I've seen for club and country so far, it hasn't had that effect. And I mean, I'm a proud Scouser. I'm always loving it when Scousers are the leaders of Liverpool Football Club. When it was Gerrard, Carragher, you'd had Fowles. Even now, I think Trent would be a really good captain.
Yeah. I
think Trent's someone who'd lead by example. Not someone who shouts, but you watch him play in that new role. Very rarely are people going to be better than him at the thing we call football. So, I saw another comment earlier that Curtis Jones vice captain. No. I'm all for Scouts has been in the leadership roles, but Curtis Jones is not vice captain material. But it's something that we'll see. I mean, the only other thing that's messing with me is how long is Van Dijk actually going to be here for? Because his contract's up in 2025. What's not to say Saudi money doesn't just go, you're right, Virgil, come here. 500 grand a week.
And it turns out a Liverpool captain will say yes to that, you know what I mean? 2 of our captains are already there, lads. So maybe
we're always after these long-term captains who you can build stuff off of.
Yeah,
that's another reason why I think Salah didn't really get it, because he's only got 2 years, and we know
I wouldn't want Salah to get. I wouldn't want Salah to get it. God bless me. Be forced to adhere to all the campaigns that the Premier League put onto the players. That, you know what I mean. But it's just not fair on Mo Salah specifically. You know what I mean. No. I don't think that's right, because he'd have to now be a face for something that'd just get him slaughtered, lads, with his religion. So I as much as I believe Salah, in fact, should like the way of Ronaldo.
He's in the leadership group. What? He's in the leadership group because he is captain material, but
he is.
For external reasons.
Absolutely is. Mohamed Salah, out of all the outfield players, I think probably has the biggest shout, to be honest. I think the dude so over-excels the ability he has on the ball, and I think he's maximised the career for himself that is purely kind of like Ronaldo. Ronaldo's ability shouldn't have made Ronaldo as good as what he ended up being. Ronaldo was as good as he was because of all the extra yards that he put in. It's a very overused thing with Ronaldo, but it's a very accurate one in my opinion. I do think that the attribute, what you have to attribute with these guys' hard work, it's massive. And Salah, Henderson was a hard worker. Salah's a hard worker.
That was
It's
about
just
all Jordan Henderson had to going for. He ran hard. He worked hard. He made sure that
Salah doesn't lose his head though as well. Salah, he can have a couple of
He
games.
smiles even when it's annoying smile, like when you missed the penalty against Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, bullshit in it. But
you want to throttle him you want to throttle him at times.
But do you know that moment of it is what it is. That is more beneficial in the long run for Mo Salah than what it would be if he was sitting there kicking himself like we would if we missed the penalty at Anfield. We kick ourselves. That is no good long term.
I scored my penalty at the Molyneux. So.
He has to get that in.
Come on, bro. That, right? Come on, bro. That's gas up right there. That's gas up, girls. If you want your top guy, your top penalty taker, come on, Maggie. You know the dots there, blood. Let me read Shane's super chat real quick. Can I also address the Salah should be captain, people? He threw his toys out the pram and acted more of a baby than Hope when he overlooked for a game. Captains don't act like that. Okay, so is he saying that he doesn't want... Shane, are you saying that you don't want Salah to captain?
I think so. I think I remember the game as well. It was like Midtjylland in that dodgy season when we had no centre-backs.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I think he'd be fine. I think every captain can have his ups and downs in terms of moments and leaderships. But yeah, I think because Van Dijk has many moments, so off the same premise, we probably couldn't give it to Van Dijk. Alisson looks sad. Have you seen all the goodbye videos where Alisson just looks like he's about to cry, boys?
He's lost all the Brazilians. Who's going to his barbecues now?
Lads, we've got Thiago. Thiago's the one remaining. You know what I mean? He was kind of with the boys because he's like originally Brazilian and that. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of hoping.
About these goodbye videos though. Fucking Adrian is getting so much airtime in them.
Bit mad, isn't it?
Like he's the water boy. That's why he does the music and that.
No, but like he starts to go on about how I've got this great relationship with Fabinho and he's this, he's that. I'm going, lad, did you see even play together that much?
How about this? Maybe Adrian's like his togetherness and his vibrant personality is what the players like. Imagine that's why we were so good.
Yeah, but I can do that, and I don't fill up a non-homegrown spot. I don't cost fucking 60 grand a week. I'll go sit in Anfield and tell jokes. I'll go sit in Anfield and have fucking barbecues with Alisson if he needs them.
We all would. But it's Adrian, so you know what I'm saying? Adrian, keep us in them jokes, bro. Just don't be in between the sticks.
Bring back Brad Jones or Pepe Reina, I say. I reckon we should have...
Jones, Jesus Christ.
Brad Jones.
Yeah.
I remember when we chucked him in at Old Trafford in 2014 and he was just so awful.
Australia's number one, him, lads. You're mad, aren't you? That's Brad Jones for you. Like, lads, he's Tim Cahill's favourite.
Do you want to know our favourite fact about Brad Jones is?
Go on.
Him and Dirk Kuyt won the Dutch title in the same season, 2017.
That's fucking weird, that.
Brad Jones was Dirk Kuyt's number one goalkeeper that year, in Dirk Kuyt's retirement year, and they both won the title.
Wait, what? He was their number one goalkeeper?
Yeah, he was finals number one keeper in 2017 or 2018 when they won the title in Dirk Kuyt's last ever game.
That's
boss. So he was their number one keeper that entire season.
That's boss.
What team?
Feyenoord.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that season. I remember Dirk Kuyt winning it, but I just couldn't remember if Brad Jones was
there. His last ever game to win the title.
He's still kicking, lads. He's still kicking a Perth glory right now. Shout out to him. Shout out to Ollie with the super chat. Thank you for everyone who supported as well on the super chat front. It's been amazing. Please do go subscribe to both gents. We're about to wrap up in a second. Liverpool when re-signing Arthur 7 minutes before the window closes, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. We got him
already. He's gone already. He's actually got a new club already.
I don't believe in it, man. It's not moving me.
The shit we were doing to get that deal done on the last day for it to end up how it ended up being was fucking wild.
My favourite thing about that is the articles that come out when it was revealed that he was going to go at the end. Who was it? James Pearce sat there and said, the Queen's death cost Arthur Melo the chance to really get his Liverpool career underway. I was sitting there going, Queen Lizzie's not even been dead a year and you're blaming her for the fact that Arthur Melo couldn't get on the football pitch in the Premier League for us. Come on.
I got caught off by this comment. Apparently, I'm 5'2". I'm the tallest person on this panel right now. I don't know what you mean by how I'm 5'2".
Technically speaking, I'm the only one who's actually done an actual height test against the Melissa shares. So
I'm a fucking tall G lad. Monts, you can back me up, innit? Wait there, who's taller out of yous two?
I think I'm slightly taller.
See, I'm well taller, so there's a difference.
I cannot believe this.
I'm just saying,
the fact that Hamas thinks he's over 6 foot, or the fact that Tom thinks he's a similar.
No, I just think you're 5'9".
That is crazy.
No, I just.
No, hey, Hey, we can all do the lies today. We can all lie today. It's fine. I said 6'2", and James and me are the same height. That's right.
You made the claim of 6 foot plus. I never made the claim. I said 6 foot with shoes on. Never said 6 foot plus. We need to establish the truth and the lies, and I don't want any slander on me.
I'm making my way to Liverpool. I'm making my way to Liverpool this month, so we'll see.
Say no more, and I'll get you the bevy. And you know what I'll do with the bevy? I'll put the money in the air like that, and you won't be able to reach it because you're a midget, bro.
We'll see.
Because you're tiny, you're a little man, bro. Like you're like a little Hasbulla. You make Hasbulla huge. You know what I'm saying, man? So come down. I'll get you your little fruit shoot because you're so small, so you won't be able to buy a bevy. And you've got no beard yet. So how about when you grow a few inches, maybe you can buy your own Desperado, son? Chat.
What's going to happen is at some point.
We saying Monts. We saying. You can't. You good, Jet?
Like, Monts, why didn't you use the door knocker, lad? Can't reach it, bro.
There's gonna be just a random like stream that pops up on the James Redmond channel. It's just gonna be like me, Sam, and Monts is up in Liverpool, and Redmond's pulled out a fucking tape measure, going right. We're finding out who's 6 foot and who's not here.
Man, it's crazy, you know. Like Monts is literally like the Rey Mysterio to Hasbulla's Big Show. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Nah, come on, chat. He's actually 5'10", isn't it, Monts? 5'10".
5'11".
Nah, gee, like I'm just not having that bullshit because I actually do remember. Unless you grew at the age of whatever age you are.
It's taller at the back. My head's taller at the back. I have a peanut head. That's why I have a hat on every stream. People don't understand that, but we move.
Nah, bro. I just don't want you to. I just don't want you to patronize my audience or yours. You know what I mean? We've got a mixture here, so yeah, it's one of those things. Chat, smash a like, go subscribe to Big Six Bants where they've got a 5'9" host. Shout out to TomL1ttle, who's the second tallest person on this stream and is an absolute legend. Go subscribe to his channel as well. We want to thank Husam for making his appearance on the channel, and we also want to thank James Redmond, the amazing 6 foot plus host. I understand it's tough, you know what I mean, but God has his favourites, and in this case, James is just, you know, chosen to get the things off the top shelves. You know what I'm saying, boys?
Just about. Someone said I'm
sound like a fucking prime Tinder buy with that. James Redmond, the 6 foot plus host.
With shoes on. With Air Force on.
I think I've read all the super chats, but I want to shout out Shane. Let's give Shane a round of applause in the chat because honestly, he's been man of the match today. He's been doing so much. But everybody who was also super chatted, shout out to H4J, H4R1, shout out to Cyberzone, shout out to Donny LFC, shout out to everyone who super chatted. There was also the gentleman whose name I couldn't pronounce, but then I learned his name. Nilopal, I believe that's the right pronunciation. I apologize if it's not. But guys, before we go, smash a like and all that good stuff. It's been great having you. Hopefully we can do this show more regularly. And we do shows with each other on Monts' channel, on Husam's channel, and TomL1ttle's going to start posting again soon. So go subscribe to his channel for when that happens. But until then, we will see you all in a bit. Boys, any final words?
Big up. And Lavia, get it done.
Get it done. Get it done. What are you saying, Tom?
Up to there, I don't know.
I thought you were going to say
so.
Ready to go and have another bevy. Chat, we'll see you in a bit. Peace out.